How does chain of custody impact evidence in court? Imagine trying to solve a mystery where every clue could be questioned. That's what the chain of custody helps prevent in court. It's like a detailed diary that tracks every step of evidence handling. When evidence is collected at a crime scene, it must be carefully documented from the start. This includes who collected it, when, and how it was stored. Each transfer of the evidence from one person to another is recorded with a date, time, and description. This process makes sure the evidence stays in the same condition as when it was found. It also prevents anyone from tampering with it or replacing it. In court, the rules of evidence requiring that physical evidence be proven to be authentic and reliable. If the chain of custody is clear and complete, the evidence can be confidently linked to the crime scene and the suspect. This helps the court trust that the evidence has not been altered or contaminated. On the other hand, if there are gaps or missing records, the defense can challenge the evidence. They might argue that it could have been tampered with or substituted. When that happens, the judge might decide to exclude the evidence altogether. This can seriously weaken the case against the defendant. Maintaining a proper chain of custody involves several key steps. First, each piece of evidence must be labeled with a unique identification tag. This prevents mix-ups between different items. Second, every person who handles the evidence must be documented. This includes law enforcement officers, forensic experts, and evidence custodians. Third, the evidence must be stored securely to prevent contamination or theft. Limiting the number of transfers also reduces the chance of mistakes or tampering. From a legal perspective, the chain of custody acts as a proof of integrity. It creates a paper trail that shows the evidence was handled properly. Courts relying on this documentation to decide whether evidence is admissible. If the chain of custody is strong, the evidence is more likely to be accepted. If it's weak or incomplete, the evidence might be thrown out. This is why investigators and prosecutors must follow strict procedures and keep detailed records at every step. Defense attorneys often scrutinize the chain of custody to find weaknesses. If they find inconsistencies, they can argue that the evidence is unreliable. Judges then weigh the documentation when deciding whether to admit the evidence. They understand that the integrity of the legal process depends on trustworthy evidence. Without a proper chain of custody, even relevant evidence might be excluded, which can change the outcome of a case. In the end, the chain of custody is vital because it protects the fairness of the trial. It helps ensure that the evidence presented is authentic and unaltered. This trust in evidence supports fair legal decisions and upholds justice. Without it, the court risks making decisions based on questionable proof, which could lead to wrongful convictions or acquittals. That's why following the rules of evidence and maintaining a clear chain of custody is so important in every case.